guys. I'm going to give you 3 good tips for you to play relaxed tennis out there. We've all experienced that moment in which we feel tense on the court, tight, nervous. And to play good tennis, it's very important to be relaxed mentally, hit relaxed in a relaxed way, and also to have relaxed strokes. So first of all, I'm going to address an issue here that I haven't seen anywhere, which is very basic and important for you to have a relaxed stroke. And it has to do with the size of your grip, guys. The number you use on your racket. If it's L3, L4, L5, how big is the grip in relation with the size of your hand? How long are your fingers? So here comes a little trick you can use here. It's a rule of thumb to know if your racket is the ideal size for you. So you can measure from now on if you got the right one. Between the ring finger here, which is the second finger, and your hand, there should be the exact size of the other hand's index finger here. If you just lay it here in between the ring finger and the hand, you see? So you got my racket here is correct size for my size of hand, because you can see that between my ring finger and my hand, you got the exact measurement of the index finger on the other hand. Now, if I had the other hand, I'm going to force it here so you can see. If I have the ring finger touching the hand here, then it's too thin. This racket's too thin for me. Most likely, when I grip it, I'm going to be squeezing it too hard. You squeeze it too hard, then all the muscles on your arm tense up. So you don't want to have a racket in which you can basically touch the fingers here on your hand. You got to have a little room in between the ring finger and the hand here, the size of your other index finger. And if you hold the racket and if it's way too big here that you could fit even 2 fingers, then this racket's too big for you. And you're not gripping the racket firm enough to hit a solid stroke. So guys, index finger between the ring finger and the hand. It's a rule of thumb for you to have the correct size of racket so that you don't grip it too tight. Therefore, you have a relaxed forearm muscles to hit that shot. Second, how much do you squeeze the racket is very important too. A lot of people trying not to miss, trying hard to make the shot, and squeezing the racket too hard in their hands. You can see the fingernails here are even like white, you know, and that's no good either. On the other hand, if you leave it too loose, then the racket can like spin in your hand here when the ball hits, and then it's not firm, it's not solid. So you can even play around with your racket like this, spinning it around and leaving your fingers loose here like this, and then you just keep squeezing it harder and harder and harder until you feel like it gets to the point that the racket doesn't spin in your hand anymore. That's enough. That's as hard as you want to be gripping it. I joke around with the kids. You hold the racket like if it was a little bird. If you squeeze it too much, you hurt it. You might even kill it. And if you leave it open, the bird might fly away. So you only hold it firm enough so you feel absolute control over it. And that's the same with your racket here, guys. So the first 2 tips, don't forget the correct size of grip for your hand, and don't hold too tight. The third tip has to do with the way you breathe. A lot of people also out there, when they're trying hard and concentrated, they end up holding their breath when they're hitting. You know, and you can even see on their expression, they're going, and then they move around and they set up to hit, and when they're about to hit, they go, and they're holding their breath. And that doesn't work, guys. We need to let the air out when we hit. You see the pros with some grunting out there. Some of the girls even grunt loud. And there's all kinds of grunts. You can have your own grunt, or you can even just let the air out literally as if you were blowing it. I remember to this day, one of the first few times that I went to the US Open back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, seeing Michael Chang play. And Michael would literally blow as if he was blowing a balloon. He would go. You didn't hear any grunt, but you heard that loud blow from outside the court. That was Michael just letting it out. Every shot he hit. And you see many other pros doing that too. So Have your own style. Try not to nag anybody with an annoying grunt, but make sure that when you hit the ball, you exhale, you let the air out. That keeps you relaxed, and it also helps oxygenating your blood, and you have better aerobic, effect, and you can even last longer while in the match and not feel so tired all the time. A lot of being tired has to do with you holding your breath too while you're hitting, okay? So the trick is to inhale when you prepare and exhale when you hit. So when you bring the racket back, you take in air, and when you hit, you let it out. Inhale, exhale. You can have a little grunt. And that way maybe you feel even, a mental effect of feeling that you're hitting the ball with authority. Same as with martial arts, we've seen they go, yeah, yeah, and they let the air out with that grunt, because then you feel like you're really going all out and giving it all, okay? And not holding back at all. Guys, 3 tips. Have the correct grip for your hand. Don't grip it too tight. Let the air out when you hit, and you're gonna see that you're gonna play a lot more relaxed tennis out there, okay? As a quick note on the end here, I've gone to the extreme of helping people that just could not let the air out or just could not release that tension, and I made them play whistling, literally whistling, as if you're going down the riverbank to go fishing. You're going. So you can go out there and practice hitting some balls whistling. It's practically impossible to whistle and be tight at the same time. If you're whistling and you play tight tennis, your whistle gets broken up and becomes stroboscopic, and it goes, and it just doesn't flow. But if you whistle, you'll see that your strokes just come out nice and loose. Kind of crazy, but it works. All right, guys, cheers. It's a wrap. See you guys next time.